The last thing Monica Jackson ever expected during what should have been a routine traffic stop was to come face to face with a police officer willing to twist the truth. As a retired Navy SEAL lieutenant commander, she had encountered far more dangerous situations, missions in hostile territories, life-or-death decisions, but nothing quite like this. This wasn't about combat or tactics. This was about something deeper, something that struck at the very core of who she was. Standing in the dim evening light, she glanced at her phone, checking directions. Never in her wildest thoughts did she imagine that in just moments, she would become the center of one of the most compelling real-life battles for justice. That night, fate had other plans for her. Officer Simmons approached with an unmistakable air of authority, his flashlight slicing through the darkness, its harsh beam piercing her vision. From years of experience, Monica had mastered the ability to read people instantly, body language, tone, the smallest details. And everything about this officer's stance screamed one thing: trouble. She could sense it. Her instincts, honed over 2 decades of service, rarely failed her. Could she have overpowered him? Without a doubt. Her SEAL training had prepared her for far worse encounters. But that night, she chose a different kind of battle. A battle not fought with force, but with patience, strategy, and unwavering determination. Then, in an instant, things escalated. Without warning, Simmons slammed her against his patrol car, the cold metal pressing into her skin. Accusations flew. Assault, resistance, all fabricated. But what he failed to realize was who he had just tried to frame. What unfolded next would become not just a legal battle but a shocking courtroom drama that went beyond one officer's corruption, exposing the cracks in an entire system. Inside the grand courtroom, Monica sat with an unshakable presence, her military discipline radiating through every movement. Officer Simmons took the stand first, his testimony delivered with well-rehearsed confidence. But Monica watched closely, every trained instinct locked onto his every move. The way his hands trembled slightly, the forced steadiness in his tone, signs of a man holding up a house of lies. She became hostile, Simmons declared, his voice reverberating across the courtroom. When I attempted to de-escalate, she reached for my weapon. Gasps rippled through the gallery, murmurs spreading like wildfire. But Monica? She remained still, unmoved. Her hands rested calmly on the polished oak table. She knew the truth was coming. Her young attorney, Benjamin Carter, leaned in close. "We need more," he whispered urgently. "It's his word against yours, and that won't be enough." Monica turned to him, a quiet, knowing smile forming on her lips. "Patience, Ben. The truth has a way of revealing itself." As the prosecution presented their case, the memories of that night surged back. The flashlight's blinding glare, the immediate hostility, the cold, unyielding surface of the patrol car against her cheek. Every part of her training had told her to stay calm, to choose her battle wisely. That night, she hadn't fought back, not because she couldn't, but because she knew the real fight was just beginning. Then it was Monica's turn. As she took the stand, silence enveloped the courtroom. Every eye locked onto her, waiting. "I was checking directions on my phone," she began, her voice unwavering, when Officer Simmons approached. "He didn't ask for my identification, he demanded it. When I questioned why, he escalated immediately." The prosecutors seized the moment, circling like a shark sensing blood. "So you admit to questioning his authority?" Monica's gaze remained steady, unwavering. "I questioned his motives. And there's a very big difference." Then, the moment of truth. Benjamin pressed play on the bystander's phone recording. The video played for all to see. And then his voice. Simmons' own words echoed through the chamber. "Women like you need to learn how to listen." The reaction was immediate. Shock. Outrage. The jury exchanged glances, their skepticism shifting. A murmur of disgust swept through the courtroom. The judge's gavel slammed down, demanding order. During recess, Monica stood near the courthouse window, her reflection merging with the cityscape. This battle wasn't just about her, it was about something far bigger. Benjamin rushed over, clutching documents. His face was lit with urgency. "We found it." Simmons' personnel file. Multiple complaints. Excessive force. Repeatedly covered up. Targeting minorities, especially women. They tried to hide it, but we got it. Monica exhaled slowly. This was never just about me, Ben. This is about every single person who never got the chance to fight back. We're their voice now. Back in court, the power dynamic had shifted. Simmons sat stiffly, his confidence visibly cracking as Benjamin laid out the damning evidence. The officers in the gallery, his colleagues, began inching away, distancing themselves from a sinking ship. The unity that once shielded him crumbled under the weight of undeniable truth. Then, the defining moment. Monica stood. She faced the jury, her voice ringing clear and strong. I am Lieutenant Commander Monica Jackson, retired Navy SEAL. The silence was deafening. Several jurors leaned forward, their expressions shifting from doubt to rapt attention. For 20 years, I fought for justice, for freedom, for the very principles this country was built upon. I led teams into hostile territories, made life-or-death decisions, stood against real threats. But I never expected that I'd have to face such blatant abuse of power in my own country. Every word cut through the air like a blade, slicing through doubt. Then, Benjamin's final argument. Monica Jackson didn't resist arrest. No, she did something far more dangerous to Officer Simmons. She questioned his unjust actions. And for that, she was brutalized. The jury deliberated. Monica remained composed, her hands folded, her breathing even. She had faced worse battles. When the verdict was read, it was swift and decisive. Not guilty, but that wasn't all. The jury added something unexpected, a formal recommendation for a full investigation into Simmons and his department. Outside, the courthouse steps were flooded with reporters. Cameras flashed. Microphones pushed forward. This isn't about revenge, Monica said, standing tall, her presence as commanding as ever. This is about reform. About ensuring that the power we grant law enforcement comes with accountability. The stories spread like wildfire, becoming a national conversation. Monica Jackson, once a soldier on the battlefield, had now become a warrior for justice. Police departments across the country were forced to re-examine their training, their oversight, their accountability. In the months that followed, change began. Simmons lost his badge, facing his own legal battles. Cases long buried were reopened. And Monica? She traveled the country, speaking at police academies, advocating for a system that truly upheld justice. Her fight had ignited a movement, proving that sometimes the greatest battles aren't fought with weapons, but with truth. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. New Real Life Stories is dedicated to bringing powerful tales of triumph and justice. Help us reach 10,000 subscribers so we can continue shining a light on stories that truly matter. Because the most important battles? They're not always fought on distant shores. Sometimes they happen right here at home.